Satanism, apparently, which is interesting. But this idea that Satanism is an officially recognized religion is just a silly nonsense, right? That's not actually true.
Well, it's not nonsense because it is recognized by the judicial court and the prison system. So it is recognized. It's probably not in all fields.
Well, recognized by the judicial court, how?
That they understand that if you catch a case or whatever for whatever reason, and you go in there and they make you put your hand on the Bible and everything, you have the right to say that goes against the beliefs. I don't have to do that, and they accept that.
Well, I mean, that's so. Hang on. So you're just saying that you don't have to swear on a Bible. That doesn't mean the court's recognizing that Satanism is a legitimate religion. You realize that, right?
So by the Department of Defense, it's referred to as No Romeo Echo Lima, right? Which is essentially an abbreviation for no preference.
Yeah, no preference. Exactly.
No religion.
Right.
So when you categorize no religion, at that point, they're basically throwing you into a pot, a melting pot of atheists or philosophies, where people that then want to go under a preference, under a non-religious title. That's where you find those goofballs that are putting like Sith or Jedi or Pastafarian or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as a Satanist, if you wanted to go under a no Romeo Echo Lima or a no preference and then put Satanist on the tag itself, you could. But to be honest with you, that's kind of irrelevant due to the fact that the only information that is relevant on a dog tag is your last name, your blood type, the last four of your social, and what unit you're with, right? So that's kind of the information that is relevant, or is the rest of the information that's on there is irrelevant.
Yeah, so then I don't really understand.
It's the paperwork that backs and supports.
Yeah, so then I don't understand why that was brought up a point in the affirmative that it's an officially recognized religion. It certainly is not. That's my point.
Yeah, and I clarified that gray area,
okay.
Right? Because the way that the military operates is based off of, my understanding, I think it's a total of 7 categories. As in an officially recognized, you have the subcategories of Christian, Catholic, Protestant, which all fall under the same umbrella. Then you have Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, and Hindu.
Yeah, so all of those are going to have specific afterlife requests. The no real preference is saying they don't care what the afterlife request is. So the thing is you're right. You categorize then in no real preference as a Jedi Knight, and they're fine with that. Just like if you categorized as Satan, I suppose, they'd be fine with that too. But that doesn't legitimize it or have them recognize it as something which is official. Same thing with the U.S. government; they simply don't.
Is paganism codified?
No.
I see. So within the prison systems, the Department of Defense, any type of the military branches, so on and so forth, none of those federal agencies or federal services recognize paganism?
Well, they couldn't recognize paganism. Paganism itself is not a religion. Paganism is giving a reference to non-Christian religions. So, wouldn't paganists be Buddhists? Would be pagans? Basically everybody who's not a Christian is what a pagan is, right?
Right. In the colloquial use of the word, yes. But
yeah. So they're not recognize paganism. They would recognize something else. There would be some other.
So more specifically, then, if we're going to get into the semantics, it would be like Norse mythology, right? So
yes, and I have a friend in the military that is a pagan, whatever you want to call him, and he's in the army, and it's recognized that's what he is.
Matter of fact,
what do you mean it's recognized that's what he is? Like people know he does that?
Accommodations. You can receive pagan or Norse mythological accommodations in the military if you can prove that that is in fact your faith with some type of backing of paperwork, and you can actually grow a beard in the military.
Really? Is that? Hang on. You can grow a beard, can you?
Yes, there are instances in the military, such as like the Islamic or the Muslim faith, as well as the pagan faith, that if you can verifiably justify and prove that this is in fact your faith, and you have ties to some type of religious organization or religious ties to, you're able to essentially prove that this is your faith. You can put in a special request to a CO or an XO and get a grant.
Yeah, and I see that the Army has granted these waivers to some Sikh soldiers who are Muslims. Can you point out any waivers that they've granted for Norse pagans, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah.
This is all above my pay grade, so I'm just letting you guys go at it.
Okay, I just sent him a thing to come in here because Dark can help explain it too. I don't know if he'll come in the live or not, but yeah, he's in the military and he is definitely Norse.
Well, I mean, I agree that you can apply for them.
Guard soldier has now been endorsed to grow a beard or a Norse beard.
A Norse beard. So
I am called a Glad of War or Grim Raider, and the third. I am one-eyed, and I'm also the highest and true guesser, I guess, or grimmer, and I am the hooded one. I am the All-Father, wanded beard. I have as many as there are winds in my. Oh, this is just a statement.
And do you agree with me that Norse?
That Hyper U.S. Army Nevada.
I'm looking at the case. Do you agree that that Norse beards are really long?
Are long?
Yeah.
Typically, yes, and the reason why a person would want to grow such a gnarly beard is to look as intimidating and as unkept as their ancestors were.
Okay, that makes sense. Was there restrictions that were put on the beard length of this soldier?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not really a Norse beard, is it?
So I see what you're doing here. I do admire it. I do appreciate it. You are a man of technicality, and I do value those that really get into the details of things. But at this point, you have to understand that unless you've actually served in the military, which I don't know if you have or have not, but when it comes to these accommodations, being a retired veteran myself, you have to take into effect that although there are certain contingencies put on waivers and accommodations that you're given, there are always going to be some type of underlining factor behind it. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that
you can grow a beard, sure. But
yeah, I'm just saying it has to be regulated.
3-foot-long beard on one of our.
Well,
soldiers.
that doesn't sound very Norse, though. Just saying. Just point it out. So I'll make the concession here. I actually did not know that you could grow a beard via a military waiver by claiming that you were a Norse pagan. It looks like you demonstrated a case. Credit where credit's due. I'll make the concession there because you guys conceded that Satanism is not actually a federally recognized religion. So I think maybe both of us learned something. Yeah.
So if you want to get into statutes like the Department of Defense, no, you're not going to find in an official document that necessarily codifies, right? But in regards to religious accommodations, counseling, chaplains are required to have a basic underlining understanding of Satanism and essentially provide some type of service to a service member when they are in the need of seeking of counsel.
Why would a Satanist want to talk to a chaplain?
They wouldn't. I personally.
Then why the hell would you want chaplains? Why would you want chaplains to be trained in Satanism then?
My chaplain was cool as fuck. I did have a really cool chaplain that I was pretty cool with because of the fact that he wasn't just tied hardcore to his faith. He was actually like certified in like Middle Eastern religions, as well as like even some of like the other theology and doctrines of paganism. So I really respected the fact that this was a man of the cloth, if you will, but he was not, a closed mind. He wasn't, a Bible thumping, Jesus freak. And that's one thing that I respect and admired about him. But when it comes to accommodations, counseling, or you trying to seek some type of direction that involves a chaplain, a chaplain's signature, because he's an officer, basically as a recommendation or a referral, is usually what gets taken into consideration when those choices are made. So, for instance,
I don't really know what that has to do with anything, though.
It has everything to do with it, because
to do with what, though? To do with what?
If a chaplain who is an officer, typically a middle-ranked officer, has the ability or has the necessity to study other philosophical or religious ideologies, and he recognizes them, and you're asking for a religious accommodation.
Well, wait. He's not recognizing them. He's just acknowledging that you believe them. That's two different things, right? Like, I recognize that you may believe in, let's say, the tenets of Satanism. Maybe you don't, or that you believe in Levian Satanism. It doesn't mean I recognize it as being legitimate.
I don't know exactly what you're trying to get at. What exactly?
That just because it's the case that I can say that you believe something doesn't mean I recognize it as being a legitimate belief. So, like, if you said, I believe that there's a pink, if you said there's a pink elephant in the room with me, I might be inclined to believe that you think that. That doesn't mean that I would say that that's a legitimate belief, though, right?